All right, we're back. Yet another Sunday, yet another day where I work on my Bronco. Today we're gonna finally finish up the subwoofer install. Let's go. Okay, so if you have a 6th generation Bronco, your audio system, at least right now in the middle of 2023, is one of 4 variants. 21 and 22 owners like myself got a 6-speaker setup, bass audio setup. There is no subwoofer, it's just 6 speakers throughout the cabin. In 2023, Ford thankfully added a 7-speaker. That 7-speaker was actually a subwoofer. That was definitely needed, so it's awesome that they did that. The problem is that they ran out of subs in December early in the model year. So the vast majority of you 2023 owners have a sub delete option. You can check your window sticker. If you have a $250 credit, you actually don't have a subwoofer. You have an empty, non-functional shell of a subwoofer. So that sucks. The good news is that most of the wiring is there, so upgrade's easy. Or if you ordered the Lux package on any of the model years, you have a 10-speaker audio setup, and that does include a subwoofer. Now the good news is that each of the audio setups are similar, so there's a lot of similarities between the two and how you install them and whatnot. The bad news is that they're just different enough to make it a little complicated. So the original plan for this video was to talk about each 4 of those variants one by one and go through step by step what you had to do regardless of what Bronco you had to upgrade or install the subwoofer in your Bronco. The problem with that idea is that it would have made the video extremely long, really hard for me to make, and then really hard for you guys to understand. So instead what I'm going to do is I'm going to take all those details and that complexity, I'm going to stick it in the forum post, which I should have linked down in either the sticky comment or the description. So definitely go check that out. I'm going to have schematics, pinout diagrams, product suggestions, and I'm also going to link to other forum members that have already done this upgrade project. There's definitely more than one way to skin this cat, so check out those posts, talk to the people who made those posts, steal ideas, all that good stuff, and it should help you figure out exactly what you want to do. So there are 2 components in a subwoofer setup in car audio. There is the subwoofer speaker itself and the amplifier to power that sub. You will also need some sort of an enclosure or mount for your subwoofer and the amplifier. If you have a 2023 Bronco or the B&O package, Ford already gave you an enclosure with the factory speaker. So you can just reuse what they gave you and you don't have to worry about any of this. If you're unlucky like me and you have a 2021 or 2022, you don't have anything back there. So you're either gonna have to buy something or build something. Now, if you didn't want to worry about any of this, if you didn't want to worry about the amplifier, the sub, or the enclosure, you can buy kits called powered subs. One of the more popular ones is the Kicker Hideaway series. It's intended to be hidden away under your seats. You can also buy the more traditional subwoofer boxes that you stick in the cargo area, or you can even buy subwoofer boxes that mount to your rear tailgate right here. I personally do not like powered subs because with a powered sub you're always sacrificing or giving up something. So for example, I have a Badlands with a washout interior. If you have a Black Diamond or Badlands with a washout interior and you install something like the Kicker Hideaway series, suddenly you can no longer wash out your interior, which defeats the entire purpose of having a washout interior. If you buy a traditional sub box and stick it in your cargo area, suddenly you lose cargo space. If you mount a sub to the rear tailgate, you can't mount anything else to the rear tailgate. So for that reason, I personally prefer a more factory-like setup that is similar to the B&O package or the 2023 Broncos, but obviously the choice is entirely up to you. So what did I do given all these choices? Well, you've actually already seen it, especially if you watched my previous video, but I actually got the factory B&O enclosure from my dealer's parts counter. So shout out to the guys at Monaco Ford for helping me with this. If you saw my last video, you will know that the enclosure already came with a subwoofer, and I powered it with the Kicker 500.1. It worked great, but it still wasn't exactly what I wanted, so it's time to start looking into installing an aftermarket sub. All right, quick comparison since I got all 3 here. Here's your B&O sub right here. This is a Kicker 6 3/4 inch sub, and this right here is a Kicker 8-inch sub. Now, if you have the 2023, I believe the 6 3/4 subs are just plug and play into the 2023 housing. You would have to verify that probably in the Bronco 6G thread. I'll post a link to that down in the description. If you have the B&O housing, you're kind of stuck, because unfortunately this is not quite an 8-inch subwoofer. It's more like a 7.5. So this guy's going to be too small, and this guy's going to be too big. So there's kind of two approaches you can take. If you didn't want to modify the housing at all, you wanted to keep it as factory as possible, what you could do is build an adapter plate for this guy and then stick this baffling in front of it. You can see it fits quite nicely around that, but you'll need to build some sort of adapter ring or sheet, probably out of HDPE like I did with the amplifier. Or if you didn't care about this, you could start cutting out this outside ring here to fit this guy, because it is real close. It's not quite there, it's like a 1/2 inch off. It's really close. So to catch you up with where I'm at, I've obviously ripped out all the trim pieces. I've got a lot of the wiring done. The very last video I did, I hooked up this amplifier. If you want to see any of that, there will be a link to a playlist in the corner here. You can click on that, you can see everything that I've done so far, and it should help you get started. So today, if you watched my last video, which was actually yesterday for me, you will know that I was not at all impressed with this subwoofer speaker. So I'm going to go ahead and swap it out with a kicker. It's going to be fun. All right. These are Torx, probably T15. Nope. T20. Yes, Torx plus 20. Come on out, please. There we go. All right, let me show you the conundrum we got going on here. look at these. Look at this. That's funny. All right. So the conundrum is this is an 8-inch. It doesn't quite fit. It is so stinking close, but it just doesn't quite fit. So we're gonna have to shave. Well, I guess you could cut this. I don't want to cut this. So you're gonna have to shave off some of this plastic to get it to fit. So I'm gonna go get my good friend the Dremel, then we'll get going. Okay. Let me preface this by saying that I have no idea what I'm doing, and this could go poorly, and yada yada yada. So we shall see. Oh, fun. All right, Dremel, plastic cutting wheel. All right. We're hitting internal supports here, so I have to cut through those? Probably. We're getting there. We're definitely getting there. I made a mess though. There's gonna be a lot of cleanup involved, but we're getting there for sure. All right, so here's the final product. Did it come out perfect? No, definitely not. But it came out pretty good, actually. This was all Dremel and utility knife. That's all I used on all of it. And that's it. So if you want to see the speaker pop in, I set it up so there's a notch below the kicker logo. So if you look at it like this, kicker logo, the notch on the opposite side of it slides into this spot right here. So notch it in, push it that way, and then down. There you go. It's in. So obviously I gotta secure it with screws still, but that's it. Cool. Lunchtime. So the last thing I gotta do with the sub is secure it to the housing, and I'm gonna do that with sheet metal screws. These are, I believe, 1¼ sheet metal screws. I actually got them with the 6.5-inch kickers up front and ended up not using them, so I'm gonna give them a shot in here. I don't expect to be able to get all the screws in just because of the plastic structure in this housing, but I figure if I can at least get, you know, 3 or 4 of them in, we'll be good to go, and that'll probably hold just fine. Okay. Do, 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 do. Alright, so we're making like real progress here. Speaker's done. Next up is the amplifier itself. So this right here are the factory mounting points for the B&O DSP. So all I'm going to do is build an adapter plate to be able to mount the Kicker Key 501 right there. And I'm going to do it with a slab of HDPE. So HDPE is this stuff right here. It's just a big old slab of plastic, high density polyethylene. This is common in arts and crafts products and also building supplies, and you would think you would be able to find it at your local Home Depot or Lowe's. But no, I could not. I had to get it from my local independent hardware store. So that goes for all my screws and fasteners too. For some reason, Lowe's and Home Depot is just utterly worthless for anything metric, and everything on the Bronco is metric. So thank you, local hardware store, appreciate it. If you have an Ace or True Value near you, go ahead and check them out. They might have what you need, and you can get it done. So before I just go cutting, I'm gonna have to cat it out first. And by cat it out, I really mean cardboard aided design. So, where did my utility knife go? Alright, progress update. CAD drawing is complete. Let's check it out. Alright, there's the mount. Amplifier will attach just like this. Should be pretty good to go. So I'm going to go transfer it over to the HDPE and cut it out. My high school shop teacher told me to treat HDPE like wood. So that is exactly what I'm going to do. And I'm just going to cut it out with a jigsaw. And if that fails miserably, I'll let you know. Alright, I'll be back. There it is. So to the surprise of absolutely no one, I'm sure, my CAD drawing was off a little bit. But I made it work. And we have another beautiful example of good enough on our hands. Cool, let's mount the amplifier. Okay, so I've been playing around with this for a while now. What I'm trying to figure out is where on that plate I'm going to mount this amplifier. Obviously it's going to mount to that plate. It's actually behind the trim piece right now. But I want to know where vertically on the trim piece or on the plate that I built I should mount it. So I did a bunch of test fitting, and I think it's gonna behoove us. Oh, how did you clip? There we go. I think it's gonna behoove us to mount it as low on that plate as possible to avoid the side panel. Yeah. All right. I also don't want to mount it like that because then that connector is going to be hard to come in, so I need to push it out a little bit. Okay. All right. I think we're set. Got the holes for the amp, got the holes for the mount. Oh, it's right here. Got the holes for this guy. Now it's time for sticker peel, everybody's favorite part. Oh yeah, satisfying. All right, well my edges are a little rough, but I can clean that up real quick with a knife. There we go. Oh, I never told you how this went. Yeah, this cut, the shop teacher was right. It cut just like wood. It made the heck of a mess. There's black dots everywhere, but it worked. So yeah, just use a jigsaw. Take your time. You shouldn't have any issues. All right, there you go, all mounted. So now, final assembly. But I'm starving, so I'm gonna go get dinner. Home stretch. Now it's just putting everything together. It's pretty easy. All right, amplifier first. Oh, come on. The tolerances on my homegrown mount are too loose. It's not too bad though. We can get it done. Oh. Oh, curveball. Curveball. It blocks it. Oh, you shit. The last wild card. The screw hits the very edge of this. Are you kidding me? Oh man. Alright, easy solution. I dug this out just a little bit so not to break through. And then I also just flipped this around. If you were smart about this, you would have put the holes in spots that didn't conflict with this plastic piece, but you know. Oh well. As I said, good enough. Cool. Amp is in. Alright, subwoofer speaker itself. Next up. Now, these connectors we don't need anymore. So, snip snip. Stupid foam stuff, get it out of the way. Alright, now I gotta figure out what positive and negative is, and I'm gonna steal my harness I made yesterday to figure that out. So now yesterday I figured out that the red and the white lines are positive, so I'm gonna figure out what that corresponds to on the connector itself. So it looks like green corresponds to purple, which means positive is yellow, and what is that color? Green. Okay, so, well, that's not confusing. So yellow and green are positive. This is like, it's when you wish you had 3 hands. All right, yellow to positive, purple to negative. Come on, just work with me. Now for this one. Now there's gonna be like no room to do this. If you guys can even come close to seeing what I'm doing, it'll be a bloody miracle. Cool. And we're all good. Push and pop. Cool. Line up my hole. Oop. Okay, let's repeat all the way around. All right, final product. Not too bad, actually. I'm kind of impressed. So the one thing that I'm not terribly happy about is there's a fair amount of notches here where I cut off too much plastic. I don't know if that matters or not. I'll be honest, I'm not a sound engineer, But I think what I might do is I might get some silicone, like the stuff you use to seal your bathroom with, and use that to fill these holes I made where I cut up too much plastic. I'm guessing, this is, again, I'm not a sound engineer, I'm guessing the only place in a subwoofer enclosure where you should have an opening is where it's designed to be. This is a vented enclosure. Here's the hole right here. So I'm assuming that this is the only place where their opening should be. But other than that, I think it came out pretty good. Pat myself on the back for that one. Oh, it is substantially heavier than it was before. Ground. And wire it. This is not the final product, by the way. I'm just roughing this in to make sure all this works, and then once I know it works, I'll final wire it. Outline. You know what I just thought of? Is it even possible to plug this in? Is it even possible? Yes, barely, but yes. All right, now. Oh, crap. I have to make jumpers. Okay. So I think what I'm going to do is abandon the color code I made yesterday in favor of the color code inside the subwoofer box, so it's easier to troubleshoot. So I'm going to do black, green, yellow, and purple. Cool. Okay, it's crimpy crimp time. So, black and white are positive. I forgot what color was what. Well, good thing I recorded it. So yellow and green are positive. Okay, just looked at the video. Yellow and green are positive, which means we're gonna do yellow to red, green to white. Wait, hold on. I hate this sort of stuff, I really do. Yeah, so we're gonna do red to yellow, green to white, black to black, purple to green. All right, everybody confused? Great, let's go. All right, one done. Let's keep going. Red is done. There's one voice coil. Next one. All right, so the first one I know is black goes to black. That's easy. My brain can comprehend that. So, process of elimination tells me that white goes to green. What happened? What happened to my green? Come here, you. Cool. La done. All right. I had to check the wire code again, but negative, positive. How this is wired is both the negatives and both the positives are wired together. That means they're wired in parallel. You can also wire your subwoofer in series. Typically you wouldn't do that, but it's necessary. Like if you have a really underpowered subwoofer, it might be a good idea to, if you have a really underpowered amplifier, it might be a good idea to wire your subwoofer in series. But generally speaking, parallel is the way to go. All right, did I get that right? Negative, positive. Cool. So we got power, ground, remote, signal. Got to plug that into the speaker itself. And then I think we're ready to test it. So I'm going to go run and put kids to bed real quick. But when I get back, let's go ahead and power it on. Okay, battery is connected. We're good to go. Let's hit the power button, see what happens. I'm less nervous today than I was yesterday. The quiet before the storm, or there we go. Oh, that's loud. Alright, let's go see if our subwoofer works. It does. Sweet! Awesome. This subwoofer, this kicker subwoofer, way, way, way better than the B&O subwoofer. Very happy I did it. Alright, well, surprise, surprise, I ran out of daylight again. Seems to be a common thing in my videos for whatever reason. Obviously, once you're happy, you put it all back together. For me personally, I'm going to run it without trim pieces for a few days to make sure I got all my settings dialed in and make sure, you know, whatever. Maybe I'll tweak some things, we'll see. If I do and I think it's interesting, I'll make a video and let you guys know. But that's it for now. Yeah, once again, Ragnar.Kon, Bronco 6G, Bronco Nation. Send me a message about anything you need, and I will talk to you all later. Bye, guys. All right, now to clean up.